my taste is just slightly more evolved than the most basic audience. बस यही मेरा सुपर पावर है.
ये प्रीकैप में डाल देंगे हम.
डाल best.
Hi guys, welcome to Chalchitra Talks. My name is Vaibhav and today we are releasing the much awaited Tanmay Bhat episode. Tanmay is a YouTuber, writer, stand-up comedian, investor. He does a lot of things. Tanmay के साथ मैंने बहुत सारी recommendations ली. I talked to him about a whole lot of things. इसलिए हम इस episode को 2 parts में release कर रहे हैं. Currently you are watching the part 1 of the series. If you are new to the channel, we are a recommendation based channel. We recommend a whole lot of movies, books, podcasts, music, poetry on the channel. And अगर आप तन्मय के चैनल से यहाँ पे आ रहे हैं, so ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब कीजिए. And we want to cross the mark of 1 lakh subscribers very soon. So without further delay, let's jump right inside the amazing conversation I had with Tanmay Bhat on Chalchitra Talks.
कर ले वैभव, आ गया मैं. कितने महीनों से हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं कि करेंगे.
हम सालों से बात कर रहे हैं. मैं आपसे मिलने आया था जब PUBG लॉन्च ही हुआ था और आपने कहा था कि मैं एक नया YouTube चैनल चालू कर रहा हूँ. आपने तो अपना YouTube चैनल चालू भी नहीं किया था, आपको पता है, वो जब चल रहा था प्रोसेस में. एंड एट दैट टाइम आई यूज्ड टू ओनली रिकमेंड मूवीज ऑन माय चैनल, बट आपने कहा था कि मैं आऊंगा तो मैं स्टैंड अप स्पेशल्स रिकमेंड करूंगा. और उसके बाद फिर हमने एक्सपैंड किया कि बुक भी चालू करते हैं, म्यूजिक भी करते हैं, और फिर हमें भी काफी सही रहा उसके बाद.
पर चैनल पिकअप कर दिया since the last time I met. Channel's picked up now. It's getting views. बन गया भाई, यूट्यूबर बन गया तू. नाइस, वेलकम टू द डार्क साइड. अभी हर वीडियो का तू नंबर देखेगा, ये देखेगा, वो देखेगा.
200 बार YouTube स्टूडियो रिफ्रेश करता हूँ.
हर कमेंट पड़ेगा. मैं सैटी से बात करता. आई नो यू डन वन एपिसोड विद सैटी. ओके, सैटी वाज लाइक, क्या अपील है, व्हाई डू यू एंजॉय, लाइक ही लव्स ऑनेस्ट वेडिंग्स. And I was like, why? He's like, it just feels like no. Actually, he didn't like honest weddings as much as I liked it. He said, you have potential to tell story. Why don't you, etc., etc. And then I was telling him about how it's different for my channel now. Like to me, YouTube is एक छोटा feedback loop होता है वो, क्योंकि हफ्ते में 2 वीडियो निकालता हूँ मैं, ठीक है. So it's just nice to think कि oh, I should output something and think of what would be the optimal output given all constraints, and then shooting it and then editing it for the best possible product and then putting it out, right? मेरे मन में ऐसा filter रहता है कि oh, what was the best possible thing I could do in this? Cool, let's try it and see if we can optimize for maximum returns with whatever constraints that I have. तो मेरे को ये process मेरे को बहुत पसंद है. Like the only thing I wish we did more during the air videos was output more. क्योंकि एबी के टाइम पे मतलब महीने के 2 वीडियो आते थे, कभी-कभी एक ही वीडियो आता था. So you had to wait 1 whole month to put something out and see how people react, and then तो उस पे शूट होता रहा, शूट 2-3 दिन का होता रहा, पर एडिट 2 हफ्ते 3 हफ्ते आराम से बैठ के एडिट करता था मैं. I used to edit, take my time, sit with Shashwat, Mihir and all of them, Deepraj, and just really fix everything. फिर हम लोग ना 2 फीडबैक लूप रखते थे, ठीक है. एक तो इंटरनल सब लोग देखते रहे, पूरी ऑफिस देखती रही. फिर हमारा एक super fans club था, which is like 100 people who we had put on a newsletter, and we would send them a questionnaire along with every video, and they would say कि ये land नहीं हो रहा है, ये land नहीं हो रहा है. फिर हम लोग उसको और fine tune करते थे. Like अब मैंने I started vlogging with a certain aesthetic in mind, saying oh, I want these type of vlogs. But what was more important to me was that I vlogged, was that I shot something and then I edited it and then I put it out, and that's how this channel began, right? And everything has a compounding effect.
Same.
मुझे बस करना है, फिर 1 साल बाद तुम देखो suddenly क्या हो जाता है, right? And then that becomes something more meaningful, and then you get distribution, and then you can be like, अच्छा चलो अब now I can really start flexing my muscles and really start doing different stuff. So I think doing is more important than anything else.
क्योंकि जो आप कंपाउंडिंग वाली बात कर रहे हो, आपको पता है चलचित्र टॉक्स के एवरेज वीडियो पे कितने व्यूज आते हैं? एक वीडियो पे 3000. बट मेरे मंथली व्यूज, अगर मैं नॉर्मली कोई भी वीडियो नहीं फटता तो 3 to 5 लाख हो जाते हैं. और अब चैनल पे 7 to 8 मिलियन व्यूज हो गए, क्योंकि बस हम रोज का एक वीडियो निकालते हैं. तो उसकी कंपाउंडिंग ऐसी हो गई कि अब लाइक कि यार इस पे 2000, इस पे 2000, ये आका से व्यूज पिछले वाले पे चलता रहता है, कुछ ना कुछ चले ही जा रहा है.
Yeah, there is a great Naval tweet, which is there are some things in life that give asymmetric returns. So you should attempt as many of those as possible. Okay? So content creation is one of them. Making any type of media is one of them. देख सोच ना, एक बंदा एक बुक लिखता है, ठीक है, एक जमाने में जेम्स क्लियर को ले ले, जेम्स क्लियर ने एटॉमिक हैबिट्स लिखी, ठीक है, वो अगले 25 साल तक वो कोट होती रहेगी. इट्स जस्ट गॉट सो मेनी जेम्स इनसाइड इट, इट विल जस्ट कीप गेटिंग कोटेड एंड कोटेड, एंड एवरी डे न्यू पीपल आर डिस्कवरिंग, यू नो, दिस हाउ आई लाइक टू थिंक, क्योंकि मेरा यूट्यूब डैशबोर्ड इज सच अ फेमिलियर थिंग. तो नंबर ऑफ पीपल रेड का बार आता होगा, ठीक है, डेली नए यूनिक विजिटर्स मिलते हैं James Clear ko. Like that is asymmetric return, right? Like anytime anyone could read it. And it's not just about how many people read it, it's who reads it. Getting someone who will use your material and then make something of themselves. So all of a sudden the audience that you have also changes, right? So I think ye asymmetric returns ke bets bahut interesting hai, which is why he also says going on many first dates can get you asymmetrical return, right? It's because think about it, having a significant other impacts your life in such a dramatic way that attempting many shots to get the ideal person who's compatible with you increases your chances of getting that person. Like, so asymmetric bets are always useful to make. That's why I like creating content on YouTube, because I think compounding effect बहुत high है इसका. Like over 5 years, the number of unique people you would have reached out to, impossible to get with just 4 stand-up videos. Impossible to get that.
एब्सोल्युटली. और आई थिंक आपने जो फिर एक बार प्रेसिडेंट सेट कर दिए, बाकी स्टैंड-अप्स भी पहले जिनके साल में 2 वीडियो आते थे चैनल पे, वो भी मोर कंटेंट बनाने लग गए हैं, बिकॉज यू काइंड ऑफ सेट अ प्रेसिडेंट कि यार वो कंसिस्टेंसी वाला गेम कर रहा है. आइदर दे डू इट ऑन देयर चैनल और अदरवाइज दे मेक अ सेपरेट चैनल फॉर दैट. देन अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल स्टार्टेड डूइंग इट.
बाकी लोग का अलग है. लाइक मुझ में वो कीड़ा है कि मुझे आई लाइक एक फीडबैक लूप होता है, ठीक है. लाइक फॉर मैं किसी को बताता, मैं राघव को बताता था, ठीक है. राघव वर्क्स विद मी, वेरी वेरी टैलेंटेड राइटर एंड प्रोड्यूसर. वो कहता रहता है मुझे राइटर बनना है, ठीक है. आप कैसे कर लेते हो, आप आपके पास एड आता है, आप कर लेते हो, आप यूट्यूब भी कर लेते हो, आप स्टैंड अप भी कर सकते हो. आप आई थिंक व्हाट पीपल ग्रोसली अंडर एस्टिमेट इज अ मेंटल मसल, राइट? It takes like take Satyanshu for example. Satyanshu is at a place in life, he's done this for a couple of decades now. He's written every day, or at least attempted to write something every day. So much that today, if you go to him with a movie idea, he gives the absolute most pragmatic advice possible, because he has done it, right? He has just his brain works in a way that it's so tuned to thinking of cinema, how to craft it. People assume that a lot of creation comes down to just raw talent, but actually it's on tap talent. You know what on tap means? बार में तुम जाते तो ये करते तो बियर निकलता है ना. It's on tap talent. On tap high quality output only comes after years and years of constant iteration. Right. That's the real goal, and that takes years. तो अगर तुम 10 साल के लिए टीवी, स्टैंड अप, मूवीज, स्केचेस, ट्वीट्स, एसेज, कॉलम्स, बस यही करते जाओ ना, तुम कुछ भी लिख सकते हो 10 साल बाद. आशीष शाक्या इज अ फिनोमिनल एग्जांपल, राइट? तुम आशीष शाक्या से बोलो गिव मी 1000 वर्ड्स ऑन एनीथिंग, ही विल गिव यू सच हाई क्वालिटी राइटिंग इन लाइक 3 days time, because he's done it for fucking 10 years, 15 years, right? That's why he's able to output. And Nanette, since he was young, he was 18, 19, and he started writing. Same goes with Rohan also, right?
In fact, we recorded an episode with Ashish last week. हमें अभी वो रिलीज करना है. हमने तो उनसे ट्रैवल रिकमेंडेशंस के साथ बात चालू की थी. उन्होंने पहले आधे घंटे सिर्फ श्रीलंका की बात की.
Hilarious.
तो मतलब हमें लग गया कि भाई ये काफी सही है. एंड लाइक कि ही इज लाइक कि पूरा हिस्ट्री बफ के जैसे मैंने कैसे श्रीलंका एक्सप्लोर किया. इट कैन बी लाइक श्रीलंका रिकमेंडेशन एपिसोड. उसका ये भी नाम हो सकता है.
They're excellent, right? Like Rohan, Ashish, Khamba, they're all craftsmen who've just done a lot. Rohan, though, I don't know if people know, Rohan used to write a blog. That's how I discovered Rohan. He used to have a blog called The Matrix Warrior, where he used to write a blog like 2 times a week. And this is when Rohan was 16, 17, 18, right? Like that's when he started writing. So now you just think of the compounding. Like at the end of 15 years, Banda tends to get good. I used to watch comedians who used to come to the comedy store. Okay, there used to be 40, 50, some of them. And they used to host every evening. Okay. I was just starting off, और मेरी गांड फटी थी host करने के लिए कि how do you go on stage with no material and you're able to hold 20 minutes and it's hilarious. People are all cracking up. Everyone's nice and warm. How are you able to do that? He's like, dude, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've gone on stage with no script for 20 years. You tend to get really good at that. तभी मैंने डिसाइड किया कि मुझे होस्टिंग करनी है. देन आई जस्ट स्टार्ट गोइंग ऑन स्टेज विद नथिंग एंड टुडे आई कैन गो ऑन स्टेज फॉर एन आवर. 1 घंटा मैं काट लूंगा. 1 घंटा बस क्या चल रहा है, तू क्या करता है बता, जस्ट टॉक अबाउट समथिंग. शॉर्ट फीडबैक लूप्स आर एक्सीलेंट एट हैबिट बिल्डिंग. long feedback loops are to flex the muscles that you earn from a short feedback loop.
इसमें मैं एक चीज ऐड करना चाहूंगा. आपने नवल की बात की और हमने बात की कि आपको लोग कहते हैं यू राइट डायरेक्ट एड्स करते हो, यूट्यूब करते हो, स्टैंड अप करते हो, और जो नवल की एक चीज है जो लोग बोलते हैं स्पेशलाइजेशन इज फॉर इंसेक्ट्स. वो एक पूरा कोट है कि वो बोलते हैं कि ये वो जमाना नहीं है कि एक चीज पे बस बेस्ट रहो. इज लाइक स्पेशलाइजेशन इज फॉर इंसेक्ट्स. एक कोट है, मैंने आपने जब बोल रहे थे तो मैंने खोला कि लोगों को पूरा कोट नहीं पता है. पीपल जस्ट कीप सेइंग स्पेशलाइजेशन इज फॉर इंसेक्ट्स. वो एक्चुअल जो नवल का कोट था वो ये था: A human being should be able to change a diaper, plan an invasion, butcher a hog, corn a ship, design a building, write a sonnet, balance accounts, build a wand, set a bone, comfort the dying, take orders, give orders, cooperate, act alone, solve equations, analyze a new problem, pitch manure, program a computer, cook a tasty meal, fight efficiently, die gallantly. Specialization is for insects.
Nice.
काफी cool है
nice
ना?
quote. Yeah, I agree. Specialization is for insects. I think what he also means by that is it almost feels robotic to be extremely good at one task only, like early days of human beings are malleable and flexible, right? So if your brain can do one thing, it can likely, the core principle of doing that thing can be applied to 15 other things.
मैं ही कह रहा था कि एक ये जैक बुचर है ट्विटर पे, काफी कूल एक वो राइटर है. उन्होंने एक चीज बोली थी और मैं एज अ क्रिएटर काफी उस चीज को वो सोचता हूँ. दो टाइप के क्रिएटर होते हैं, आइदर यू आर अ स्नाइपर राइफल और आइदर यू आर अ मशीन गन. जैसे मेरे को पता है मैं मशीन गन हूं, मैं बहुत सारा कंटेंट बनाऊंगा और गोली एक ना एक लग जाएगी. कुछ होते हैं जो स्नाइपर राइफल होते हैं कि उनको पता है एक निशाना मारूंगा मैं 6 महीने में और वो फटेगा. आपका तो मिक्स हो गया, आपकी तो मशीन गन वाली वो लाइक स्नाइपर वाली बन गई. तो बट like वैसे how do you think of yourself? Are you a machine gun or are you a sniper rifle?
Yeah, I've been trained me to be a sniper rifle, which is I'll come once in a while and I'll just say the right thing at the right time and I'll just land. And now I am a machine gun. They do different jobs. Sometimes sniper rifles are to shoot to kill, and sometimes machine guns are to create the way so you can go for the kill later on, right? It sounds so pompous. I'm both. But I really think so. Like I'll tell you, I'll give you a very practical example. अब जब ad लिखता हूँ ना मैं, इतना pressure आता है ना कि fuck, एक मौका है क्योंकि साल में IPL एक बार आता है, ठीक है? I have one shot and I have day one of the IPL to definitely land this. सारे founders की नजर होती है कि भाई इसका तो reputation है, इसको तो बनाना है, अभी देखते क्या response. Like it's so focused that if that doesn't land, then it's like, okay, I have to reprove myself the next time around. So sniper rifle में वो एक दिक्कत है कि when there's just expectation, there's so much expectation that if it doesn't land, then it demoralizes to go take the next shot. Which is why it's nice to be machine gun also on the side.
तो अब हम लाइक एक्चुअल कन्वर्सेशन पे भी आते हैं, लाइक जहाँ आपसे रिकमेंडेशंस लेनी है. हमें बहुत सारे नाम तो मिल गए और यहाँ पे एक वेलकम भी हो जाए. ये हमारा यहाँ पे वेलकम तन्मय, वेलकम टू चलचित्र टॉक्स. मैं आपसे एक पहली ना थोड़ी वियर्ड सी रिकमेंडेशन लेता हूँ. टिम फेरिस की एक किताब से उठाई थी मैंने, अ थिंग दैट यू बॉट फॉर लेस देन $100 व्हिच लाइक रियली हैज एन इम्पैक्ट. या आप जो सबको रेकमेंड करोगे, तो हम इसको थोड़ा मॉडिफाई कर देते हैं. 10,000 रुपए से कम की एक चीज जो हर जने को लाइफ में लेनी चाहिए. बॉस, इन्वेस्ट इन दिस.
A good mic is something that I often recommend now because it's लोग इतना बोलते हैं कोविड से सब कुछ ऑनलाइन आ गया है, but most people including you don't have a good mic right now. क्या mic यूज कर रहा है तू?
यार मैं यही कर रहा हूँ, ब्लू का यूज कर रहा हूँ.
है तेरे पास चलो. Okay, but you invested in it. Okay, most people still don't. I was on a call with a VC the other day. Okay, बहुत बड़ा VC है और कॉल हम लोग कुछ तो इन्वेस्टमेंट करने बात करें, उसके बीच में मैंने उसे रोका. मैंने बोला कि आप सारे कॉल ऐसे करते हो, लैपटॉप वाले माइक्स, लैपटॉप वाले कैमरा और माइक से? इसलिए हाँ. I said, can you please invest in this because 90% of your work happens here. Why can't you invest in a good mic? People grossly underestimate when something looks aesthetic and something sounds pleasing, what that can be like. Having said that, now let me shift from my current mic to this mic.
Yeah.
It sounds nicer. I don't know how it'll sound on recording. It sounds nicer to me. So I would recommend a good mic. There are some good mics. There's an Elgato Wave 3, which I think is it's a little over 10,000. There is this one. There's the Shure MV7, which is really good. My headphones, I would recommend. These are really good. It comes with this mic. And the cool part of this mic is if I swipe it up, it goes off. If I pull it down, it comes back on.
पर ये तो expensive होंगे ना headphones?
Not that expensive, I think. I think that's yeah, in that 10,000-15,000 range you should get it. But this one and the Elgato Wave 3 I know will be 10,000 and under, I think. तेरे पास जो है वो भी decent है.
मेरे पास snowball वाला है, ये 5-6 का आता है, दूसरा वाला 10-11 का आता है.
हाँ, Blue Yeti, I think Blue Yeti 10-11 का है. Blue Yeti is also really nice. Anyway, there's a lot of solutions. Okay, it's very, very, very possible to do within 10,000.
इसमें मैं एक चीज ऐड करना चाहता हूँ. पूरी ये हमने इस पे जो साउंड की बात की, मेरी लाइफ जूम पे तब चेंज हुई थी जब मैंने कैमरा के लिए किया. सो पूरी दुनिया क्या करती है, एक अच्छा DSLR लेके कैमरा यूज करती है. A lot of people don't know you can turn your phone into your webcam. So right now I am using my phone as my webcam. आपको पता है मेरा एक्चुअल वीडियो कैसा है? मेरा एक्चुअल वीडियो ये है.
Awful. Please. Yeah,
और ये एक ऐप आती है कैमो करके, and I got the founder. It's a London based app. मैंने उनको पॉडकास्ट ले आइडन करके है. कैमो का प्रो वर्जन. I can control my ISO, shutter speed, everything using this app. प्रो वर्जन आता है 1,500 रुपए का. Amazing stuff.
Excellent. Yeah. There's देखो अच्छा बनाने के लिए ना बहुत है अभी सुविधा.
आगे चलते हैं. अच्छा, मैं पॉप कल्चर पे, प्रॉपर पॉप कल्चर में थोड़ी देर बात हो. अभी ये प्रोडक्ट्स की बात हो ही रही है. व्हाट आर सम ऑफ योर फेवरेट एप्स इन योर फोन? यू कैन ओपन योर फोन की, जो एप्स जो आप बहुत यूज करते हो.
YouTube Studio. I love YouTube Studio. I'm obsessed with it.
नोट्स कहाँ बनाते हो आप?
एक रफ नोट्स है और एक थोड़ा फॉर्मल नोट्स है. Okay, formal notes will include you have to write an email to someone. Okay, it needs a little bit of editing. Rough notes is abhi thought aa gaya. It's more important to just put it down. So I do formal note taking on Evernote. वो rough note से Evernote पे जाता है जब कुछ construct हो गया, किसी को message भेजना है, उसको थोड़ा सा fine tune करके भेजना होता है. Then it goes there. Email भेजना है, it goes on Evernote. I have one file on Evernote called jokes. Okay, these are one-liners. Okay, उसी के अंदर सब कैटेगरी है LinkedIn updates. Okay, कोई थॉट आता है उसको फ्रेम रिफ्रेम कैसे करना है. It's a lot of output stuff eventually goes on Evernote. क्या ऐप बताओ यार, मेरे फोन पे ना बहुत कचरा है जो लायक नहीं है. App that I really use nowadays is Reddit. I use a lot of Reddit to just browse through content that I can laugh at. I just got Dispo yesterday to see what the hype is all about. Do you know about Dispo?
No, please tell me.
It's Instagram except grid wale photos 24 घंटे में गायब हो जाते हैं. Then there's an app, by the way, this is a hack for a lot of people. There's an app called Musi. It's like Spotify, Apple Music. It's like any of the like YouTube Music. Except it's free. Okay, so it basically extracts the audio from YouTube and you can just stream the audio from it. Okay, so it saves on data and it's for free, and I think a lot of people will like it. Musi is really popular. There's an app called Ultra Human. Okay, it's not an app, it's actually a patch mixed with an app. So Ultra Human ka arme jata hai. So it measures your glucose. Okay, so I had it until last week. It's the thing, it's just a patch that goes into your arm. Then it just measures your glucose for the day. It tells you कि अच्छा सुनो, ऑप्टिमल रेंज देखो 80 और 120 के बीच में तुम जो भी खाते हो इसके हिसाब से हम तुम्हें रिकमेंडेशन देंगे कि 80 और 120 के बीच में कैसे रहना है. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर तुमने चिक्की खाया, चिक्की में शक्कर होता है, तो मैं खाते खाते तुम्हारा ग्लूकोज स्पाइक होता है, वो 110, 115, 120 तक आता है. तो बोलता है कि लुक, इट्स गोना गो ओवर योर रिकमेंडेड जोन, वी सजेस्ट यू गो फॉर अ 10-minute वॉक. ओके, तो 130 तक पहुंच जाता है, तो मैं फटाफट 15-20 मिनट चलने के लिए जाता हूँ, and it automatically falls within the recommendation range. As soon as it's going to fall below 80 again, it pings you saying, hey, we're detecting a crash. What did you eat a couple of hours earlier? Because optimal foods also don't have spikes and drops. They're more, easy curve. Those are the best foods, right? I think meat gives you an easy curve. A lot of protein gives you an easy curve. Complex carbs will give you an easy curve. Whereas rice, sugar will be like this. These are really bad. Too much ups and downs, really bad. So when it goes up, you need to reduce the amount of glucose in your body. When it comes down, you feel immense hunger. Crashes are usually after a spike. इसलिए अगर तुम दिन में फ्राइड राइस खाओगे, 2 घंटे बाद दोबारा भूख लगेगी तुम्हें. If you have one of those crashy type meals. So Ultra Human is this app. It basically it's a YouTube studio for your body. Really good app. It's expensive. एक पैच I think कुछ 6-7 हज़ार का आता है. बट उसके बाद तुम्हारे बदन के जो इनसाइट्स मिलते हैं ना, लाइक मुझे समझ में आया कि कुछ लोग को ब्लैक कॉफी से ग्लूकोज स्पाइक होता है, पता है? मुझे नहीं पता था. मेरे बॉडी में जिम जैम बिस्किट इज मोर सुटेबल फॉर मी देन इज लेस सुटेबल फॉर मी देन बॉन बिस्किट. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट आई हैव फाउंड आउट द लास्ट फ्यू डेज. कि बॉन बिस्किट से मुझे कब्ज पाएगा था, जिम जाम से मेरी गांड लग जाती है. So ऐसे अलग-अलग छोटे-छोटे small things you really have to get to understand your body better. So I'll try you man is something I would highly recommend, but you need the patch with it. I have too many crypto apps now. I have one that I use a lot called CoinGecko. CoinGecko is the place. It's real-time updates of all the prices without going into exchange. And the cool thing about CoinGecko is कि तुम्हें सिर्फ info मिलती है. तुम immediately कुछ भी खरीद नहीं सकते. ठीक है? Which is very good. It's an impulse control info only app, which I really like. तो तुम random coin के ऊपर click करते हो तो information बताता है कि भाई ये है क्या, इसकी ओवरऑल सप्लाई कितनी है. यूनिट बायस में मत फंस जाना, सिर्फ $1 का है तो खरीदना नहीं होता. ऐसे क्या होता है वो भी समझना जरूरी है. I like CoinGecko, very useful for anybody who's into crypto. Insta Reel वगैरह ना, ये ऐश्वर्या, shout out to ऐश्वर्या, InShot करके ऐप है. That's what I use to make all my shit. Insta Size I use a lot for photos.
I have to ask you, music, like आपने एक music वाली भी आप बताई, but like, are you a Apple Music person or a Spotify person?
Yeah, I was a Spotify person. Then one full fuck up happened. तुम फोन से खरीद नहीं सकते ना Spotify Premium, वो डेस्कटॉप से करना पड़ता है.
हाँ.
Huge problem. I replaced my credit card recently, so my Spotify Premium went away. And then I was traveling. और travel करते समय वो हो नहीं था फोन पे. So I just switched to Apple Music immediately. So basically Apple won, okay, because of their hyper anti-comparative policies. They won. So now it's like Apple Music ऐसे कर देता हूँ मैं और वो face detect करता है और payment हो जाता है. Then I'm like, okay, this is like too convenient. मैं कहाँ आके करूँगा? But I like Spotify more as a product. Spotify is a better product. Yeah. But शुरुआत में, before Spotify had come to India in a big way, I was a huge Sawan fan. I used to love Sawan. I was one of their earliest. मैं पैसे देता था Sawan को. क्योंकि एक टाइम पे बहुत ट्रैवल करता था मैं, and Sawan had the download feature which at that point nobody else had.
अब हम मूव करते हैं towards like some like comedy and like आप like हम stand up की बात करेंगे, stand up special की बात करेंगे, your favorite stand up comedians both India and overseas बात करते हैं. So हमें बताइए which are your favorites and which are the ones you want to recommend.
एक तो मुझे बहुत प्रेशर आता है, ठीक है, इस शो पे, because everyone you got are either like extremely well read, intelligent, and they have such high taste. मेरे को लगता है ऐसे सब recommendation मैं देता ही नहीं हूँ, सिर्फ एकदम ही close दोस्त जो पूछते हैं, क्योंकि मेरे को लगता है लोग recommendation पे ही जज करते हैं यार कि कैसा बंदा है, ये तो ये दिखता है या ऐसा होता है. Anyway, it's like when people share stuff onto their profile. It's actually not about whether they like it or no. It's about how they look if they are perceived to like something. So we'll try and talk about stuff. At least I want to try and talk about stuff which I think most people might not have seen. The classics are there. There's anything by Louis C.K., Bill Burr, Chris Rock. I love Seinfeld. So I'm telling you for the last time, is one of my favorite specials. There's a chap called Mclntyre. Okay, he's one of Britain's biggest comics. Nobody in India talks about him. None of the Indian comics I know give a shit about him. But to me, he's like the new age Seinfeld. Okay, he's very animated, very British. उसने एक कुछ तो talent show type जीता था, because of which he got to perform at the Royal Variety Show. Okay, and there he popped. Like that clip went viral, and since after that he got his own show on British television called the Mclntyre Comedy Roadshow. So if you look on YouTube for Mclntyre Comedy Roadshow, you'll find a lot of different bits. So 20-20 minute करता रहा episode में, तो तुम्हें 2 घंटे का material मिल जाएगा if you want to check him out. Highly recommend. If you like observational comedy, this dude is top tier. One of my favorite comics is Patrice O'Neill. He's a comic, and he was also, audiences loved him. Patrice died very young, but hilarious. There's a special by him called Elephant in the Room. One of my favorite specials. Okay, really good. Then there's the older Chappelle stuff. Like this generation only knows about the new, 5 specials that he's released. There's older stuff, like there's Killing Them Softly for What It's Worth. Chappelle looks only different. He wasn't fucking buff and all. He was this thin, lanky guy. He was like before Chappelle's show. Style is still similar, but he wasn't as cutting as he is now. Now he's like a wise man. He's seen life, and now he comes back and he tells you what life is all about. There he was still young and bakchod. So that is really good. You can't talk stand-up in India without Russell. Comedy now, that clip by Russell, that whole 40-minute bit that I think that was the first thing that exploded of stand-up on the Indian internet. But the 2 specials that followed up after that were as enjoyable, and I think that's still the best of Russell. One was Outsourced, which has a really popular bit called Calm, doggy style, doggy, dog. It's really funny. Okay. Fuck, everyone was here, he would crack up. And Red, White and Brown. 2 specials by Russell, which were great follow-ups to that bit after he went viral. Comedy specials that aren't available online, but if you get to see them ever live, special that I watched like about 50 times because I opened for Veer was Veer's first special called Walking on Broken Das. It was eye-opening for me because I used to be in the aisles watching Veer because I 5 minute karta raha. Then I would get off and then Veer would come and just enthrall the audience for an hour. Like at that time, it was like, fuck, this is what I want to do. Like I want to be able to sell an auditorium and hold them for an hour, right? In fact, a lot of early AB days was just the dream of filling an auditorium, right? हमने पहला Turds लिखा था जो auditorium में हमने perform किया था. हमने Liberty Theatre book किया था, एकदम बढ़िया था. Was all the dreams of holding an auditorium for an hour. So Walking on Broken Das was really fascinating because Veer was not just a speaker, but he would do music. He would do a segment called Impressions also in it. Absolutely fun to watch that show. Don't know if it'll hold up today. I think it should. Some of it should hold up today. Tig Notaro live. I don't know if people seen it. Fairly obscure. Okay. Tig Notaro was diagnosed with cancer and she came to a comedy club that day and she did an hour on stage. It's a little less than an hour. It was unprepared, a lot of it, but it's so deadly because here's a woman who just got diagnosed with cancer. And that day she comes to do stand-up. Like you can imagine, if once you have this context and she talks about it on stage, it's outstanding, right? Insane.
Wow.
Indian specials, I think Hakse Single is like, it's a classic by now, right? I think no one does storytelling better than Zakir. I think a lot of the popular comedians, there's Bakchodi, which goes viral. And then there's storytelling, there's craft. I think no one beats Zakir at that craft of holding a room for 2 hours. And I remember Hakse Single का एक पहला ड्राफ्ट था जो एकदम फक कर दिया था शो. मैं डायरेक्ट कर रहा था, ठीक है. I fucked up some lighting and etc. And I remember Zakir would hold an audience for 2.5 hours in a stadium. So that special to me is a class act in storytelling, how to keep an audience, how to understand your own audience. Zakir मेरे को story बताता था, like stories that would seem like horror to me. He said he's performed at Kota for 1 lakh people. Can you imagine standing in front of 1 lakh people? At 1 lakh people, everybody is basically anonymous, right? Like all decency goes out of the window. At 1 lakh people, it is a YouTube comment, right? Because you can't be held accountable for however you behave. You could stand up in the middle of it, yell, be a complete buffoon, but it wouldn't affect enough number of people for it to matter for you to stop. Are you understanding? So everyone would chat. Anyone can throw a comment. Anyone can just be like, hey, band kar, aage badh. And it wouldn't matter. It would hurt you, but it wouldn't matter to the remaining 99,000 people. And that is intimidating. In an auditorium, if someone is unruly, you're upsetting everybody else in the auditorium. And hence you will have decorum. In 1 lakh people, there are no such restrictions. Fuck 1 lakh people. This happens in 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people. Yeah.
Absolutely.
सीरी फोर्ट में होता है. सीरी फोर्ट में ऊपर वाले रो में कमोशन हो गया तो फक हो जाता है फ्लो तुम्हारा. I don't even know how he did 1 lakh people, but he did an hour in front of them. It's not a special recommendation, but it's a clip recommendation. There's a clip by Bill Burr. Look up Bill Burr Philadelphia Roast. There's a show that was happening in Philadelphia. It was a comedy show that was going on for 12 hours, between 12 to 20 hours, okay? And he was coming in at the fag end of the 12th hour or something like that. You can imagine an audience that's been sitting through comedy for that long. They don't give a fuck about who's coming up next. Annoyed and crabby, and if you're not hilarious from the first minute, you're fucked. They're gonna boo you. They just want you to leave. Bill Burr walks on a stage and he just shits. Like he was supposed to do a set, but he just abandoned it. And he said, I need to talk to the room. And he just roasts Philadelphia and its people, especially the people who are in that room right now, saying, you guys fucking suck. Your city sucks. And it's a masterclass in how to handle that room, okay? Because by the end of his 10th minute, they didn't want him to leave. He not only earned their respect, but they're applauding him by the end. They hated him when he came on. And in those 10, 15 minutes, and how did he do it? Made fun of them. He roasted them. And by the end of it, they love him. Insane masterclass at how to handle a room. Kanan special, keep it real, class act.
Kanan ka special is the most recommended special on Chalchitra Talks.
Oh, really?
Aishwarya Mohanraj, Neville, Varun, KV. Like you're the 5th comic to recommend Keep It Real on the channel.
Keep It Real is excellent. I love Seinfeld because there is a depth in writing. Not when I say in terms of profundity, but there is a finish. There are rounded edges. So Keep It Real is that special for, I think, especially for Indian comics, right? It was the first special that felt so beautifully finished, right? Every word was accounted for. It was very simple. It was purely the jokes that carried the special. Really good special. I think Kanan really made that special work really well. I've realized that I've not let you speak at all. I'm assuming that's fine.
हाँ हाँ absolutely.
Just been rattling. तो मैंने लिस्ट बनाया यार, मेरे को इतना प्रेशर है, कुछ बोलना पड़ेगा इंटरेस्टिंग. There's a special called Jigsaw by Daniel Sloss. It's a special that caused 1,000 divorces. In fact, जब Jigsaw निकला ना, तब Daniel Sloss Instagram पे डालते रहता था. Just screenshots of people who were like, तेरा स्पेशल देखा मैंने डिवोर्स ले लिया, तेरा स्पेशल देखा मैंने ब्रेकअप कर लिया, तेरा स्पेशल देखा मैंने मेरे गर्लफ्रेंड या बॉयफ्रेंड को छोड़ दिया. That was his marketing, saying, watch this special to leave your partner. And he says also, like, my goal is to make like 10,000 people get divorced. Really good. It'll change your worldview about love. If there's one takeaway for the younger generation, I'm saying, one takeaway from this episode is go watch this special. You'll love it. Anthony Jeselnik, Thoughts and Prayers. Has anyone else recommended it? Really good.
Yeah. Rohan Joshi.
Yeah, really good special. I can see why Rohan would recommend it. There's especially a bit about thoughts and prayers. Like the special is named Thoughts and Prayers for a reason, which I think applies to most people on social media, especially those who like to virtue signal, okay? Which I think is most people. I'm now very wary of doing it. Like I cringe at myself when I am. Actually, pura special bhi nahi dekhna to mat dekho. But it's better with the context, right? Because Anthony Jeselnik is like, he's so no holds barred, fuck you offensive. Like he doesn't care. And then in the middle of the special, he talks about his thoughts and prayers. And then he makes you feel bad for judging him. And then he makes you feel bad for yourself. Like makes you only feel pathetic. It's really good. We should watch it. Ali Wong is really good on Netflix. Hannah Gadsby, Nanette, even though Dave Chappelle thinks she's not funny, it's a great special. I really enjoyed that. Chris Rock, Kill the Messenger. I think I watched it at the peak of my absolute love for stand-up. If you look at Kill the Messenger, even now, there's a lot of pop cultural references there. There's a lot of stuff about rap music, stuff about the US election. A lot of the modern day references that kids don't even know, a lot of them came from Chris Rock and his comedy. People don't realize this. Bigger, Blacker was really good. Kill the Messenger is really good. Tambourine is really good. You should check out all three.
एक HBO का एक टॉकिंग फनी है, मेरे को नाम याद नहीं आ रहा, जिसमें ये चारों बैठ के बात कर रहे होते हैं, साइनफील्ड, रिकी जर्वेस, लुई सीके. बहुत ज्यादा सही है वो.
Excellent episode. It's called Talking Funny. It was an HBO 1 hour special where the four of them sit down and talk about their process. But if you've seen it, Ricky Gervais comes off as the most dickish in that episode.
Okay. Our comment is whatever.
Yeah, like Ricky Gervais क्यों है यहाँ पे? But I think Ricky Gervais has now earned a place. The Office is a language now. It's no longer just a show. It's a genre, right? And you have to credit Gervais for that. Like he was the pioneer of that cringe, awkwardy kind of humor. So I think he is definitely created something that was outstanding. Afterlife is also excellent, which is just a complete range. But
have you seen his monologue, Golden Globe wala?
It's my favorite thing to, खाना खाते समय तुमको बस कुछ interesting चलाना चाहिए. I love watching monologues of the Oscars. Monologues and bits at the Oscars, I love them. There's the Mark Twain Award, okay? Mark Twain Award में comedians को मिला है, Seinfeld को मिला है, I think Chappelle को मिला है. Those award shows are really fun to watch. Because 4 other comics will come, they'll talk about the winner, right? I think in Chappelle's case, Sarah Silverman comes on and talks about Chappelle. So they're all stand-up bits, but they're about one person. I constantly binge watch old roast episodes. Pete Davidson roast. ये डाल देता हूँ मैं और बस 6-7 वीडियो पेल लूंगा मैं एक साथ. Very, very fun to watch. I love Pete Davidson also. His new special, really fun, by the way. Everyone should watch it. Because he talks about his relationship with Ariana Grande and how that went down. But the other side that nobody cares about, right? Like everybody followed Ariana Grande through her relationship. Then she released Thank You Next. And there was the whole fuck Pete Davidson and all that shit was going on. But nobody cared about it. Then Ariana Grande said, oh, he has big dick energy. Nobody said anything. It's fine. Just because she's more popular and he's a dude. We don't care about it. We don't care that we're discussing his genitals publicly in national media. No one was okay. So he questions that side, which I thought was really fascinating, really interesting.
ये हमने जो बात की, आप ये जो monologues खाना खाते खाते देखते हो, what are the other things that you like to watch when you're eating food? Like वो एक जो 22 मिनट का जो slot होता है.
Fuck, it's such a good question because there's so many of these small clips, right? Now I'm addicted to a lot of clips channels. Okay, gaming clips channels I'm addicted to. But one good hack is, okay, if you like a person, especially US pop culture mein, you're able to catch the best fun conversational bits because of all the late night stuff. One of my favorite things to do is sit and watch Conan's clips. Okay, Conan with different celebrities. Conan has the best like segments. There's one with Conan and his producer, this Italian guy, and they go to Italy and they were really good. Conan and his interns, if you look for Conan interns, really good. Conan has a gaming series. It's called Clueless Gamer. If you see Clueless Gamer, you will understand my branding of I am noob at gaming. Okay. Because I love Conan and he's awful at games and he reviews games when he's awful at games. Okay. But he pretends like he's a connoisseur, which is basically me. Okay. This is my character. So Clueless Gamer is really good. Worth binge watching because every moment is funny. In fact, Teen Coco का जो YouTube channel है ना, उस पे तुम playlist section में जाओगे, वहाँ पे तुम्हें बहुत सारी series मिलेगी. Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, another favorite. If you love any of these comics, go watch them. Here's what you can do. Okay, any comic you like, you can go do comic plus late night. Okay, you can do nice. Comic plus Howard Stern. You can do comic plus Joe Rogan. You can do comic plus Jerry Seinfeld. You'll get the best bits of all of these guys in bits and pieces, right?
आपका फेवरेट ये कॉफी पीने वाला गाड़ी में इसका फेवरेट कौन सा? मतलब नाम कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सा इसलिए से कह रहा हूँ.
Tina Fey, great episode with Tina Fey. Chappelle is really nice. Ellen episode also really nice. Another comic I really love is John Mulaney. He has a great episode. People should know I have the most fucking mainstream taste of anyone that I know. You know what the playlist I listen to now is? TikTok viral hits. It's my exclusive number 1 playlist. जो मेरे Instagram पे मैंने 10 बार सुना है, मुझे वही गाने सुनने रात को सोने से पहले. I'm an easy dopamine guy. So if you hear of any
dopamine, nice.
I'm easy dopamine. So if you hear of any comic here, this thing, just know कि it's been filtered. मुझसे 10 गुना ज़्यादा smarter लोगों ने ये filter करके मुझे pass on किया, तो it's absolute mainstream. So you will most likely like it. कि मुझे मजा आ गया तो बहुत लोगों को मजा आएगा. My taste is just slightly more evolved than the most basic audience. बस यही मेरा super power है.
ये Precap में डाल देंगे हम.
डाल best. Like I love superhero. I just fucking love it. But now I'm getting a little tired of it. Maybe yeah. You know, मैंने अभी No Time to Die देखा.
कैसी लगी?
अच्छा लगा. That I was in the theater and I was watching it. And I realized that I would never watch this on my laptop. I would just not watch it. फिर मैंने tweet भी किया है, फिर मैंने delete कर दिया उसके बाद. I think the theatric atmosphere elevates a lot of mediocre shit, okay, which wouldn't have stimulated my mind previously. And if you enjoy something on the laptop, you would fucking love it in a theater because the experience would 5x, right, of watching it in a theater. So I think a lot of the superhero stuff will die for me if it's on a laptop.
Yeah,
it just doesn't work.
But ये जो कोट है आप ही का है क्या कि a lot of mediocre shits gets elevated by theater? काफी सही लाइन है because it is very true.
हाँ मैंने इसको यही मेरे Evernote में tweets वाले सेक्शन में गया था. रैंडम ज्ञान में क्राफ्ट किया था उसको कैसे बोलूं उसे.
मेरा एक आइडिया है, लाइक कोई नहीं करेगा एग्जीक्यूट तो मैं ही करूंगा, कि पीपल शुड स्टार्ट बुकिंग थिएटर्स फॉर बिंजिंग शोज, कि 8 घंटे के लिए मैंने वो कर लिया और सुबह से शाम तक शो देख रहे हो बैठ के.
Shows to me is like it's a very insanely long investment, right? Like you're basically investing 10 movies. So shows, I'm a little more picky with what show I get into. If I have to kill 2 hours, देखो क्या है, रात को सोने से पहले कुछ देखना है ना, 1.5 घंटे में, यानी कि 3 एपिसोड के बहुत अच्छे पिक्चर है. I prefer doing that over shows. Very few shows that I end up finishing. मैंने You देखी, You देखी है?
हाँ, The Stalker one ना, The Stalker one.
हाँ, Creepy one. तो मैंने पहला सीजन बिंज कर लिया, ठीक है, क्योंकि पहले सीजन में तो मतलब वो स्पॉइलर देने वाला हूँ मैं, ठीक है. पहले सीजन में मर्डर वगैरह जो होता है वो थोड़ा मतलब there's a build up to it. सेकंड सीजन देखना शुरू किया 2 एपिसोड, और उसमें तो अभी तो किसी को ही मारा. He's not a stalker, he's basically a murderer at this point who's a freelance stalker. It's not about his love life, it's just ये तो मर्डर ही करता है भाई ये बंदा.
शोज के साथ like I have this analogy, every show जिसका पहला एपिसोड देखते हो it's like a first date, और अगर सीजन्स में जाना है तो it's like a long term commitment, कि मतलब आप 2 एपिसोड देख लिए, 2 डेट पे चले गए, देख तो अच्छा शो है पर अभी नहीं चाहिए मेरे को. तो सीजन कमिटमेंट्स इज लाइक अ लॉन्ग टर्म रिलेशनशिप.
Yeah, it is like a relationship, you're right. ऐसा मतलब किसी के साथ अगर तुमने 1 साल बिता ही दिया तो like एक और
हाँ
साल
हाँ हाँ.
कटा ही लेते हैं. ऐसा होता है कि 1 साल बिता ही लिया है तो I know him, I know his family, so I'm just like, why not? Like it's like that.